It feels like every day there's some new AI thing blowing up, you know?
Right.
But this whole GPT 4.5 thing really caught my eye.
Hmm.
Passing the Turing Test, supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of our listeners are familiar, but just for anyone tuning in for the first time.
Sure.
The Turing Test is that classic thing where a human judge is basically chatting via text, and they're trying to figure out if they're talking to a computer or another person.
Right, right.
And it's wild that it's hitting this milestone.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly, like, dominating the leaderboards in other AI benchmarks.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing.
But here's the thing that's really trippy.
What's that?
The author of the article we're diving into today pointed out this, like, alarming creativity in GPT 4.5
Hmm.
and how incredibly human-like its responses are.
Yeah.
And it just makes you wonder if AI is getting way better at creating stuff, like way faster than we realize.
It really does, and that's, I think, a perfect segue into what we're going to be talking about today, which is the Hopkins Test.
Okay, the Hopkins Test. That sounds kind of ominous.
Well, it's interesting. It was proposed by Michael Taylor, and it's all about a new benchmark,
Okay.
specifically for AI in advertising.
Okay, so tell me more about, like, who is Hopkins and what's this test all about?
So the test is named after Claude Hopkins,
Oh, okay.
who was this massive figure in advertising back in the early 1900s.
Oh, wow, going way back.
Yeah, like think Mad Men, but even earlier,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And Hopkins was all about data-driven advertising. He called it scientific advertising.
Yeah.
Like he was meticulously tracking which ads led to sales, using coupons and different codes to really measure what worked.
Like really OG-AD testing?
Totally.
Wow.
And so Taylor's Hopkins test, right, it kind of carries that torch forward,
Yeah.
asks, when can AI make an ad so good that even the best human copywriters can't beat it?
Given the same creative brief,
Exactly.
that's a high bar.
It is.
So that's the end game, so to speak. So I guess today we're looking at Michael Taylor's roadmap for how we get there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got these, 5 levels of AI in synthetic market research?
And he does.
Sounds super sci-fi to me, I gotta admit.
It does have that ring to it, right?
So what's the deal with synthetic market research?
Well, essentially, he's laying out how AI can, get inside the minds of consumers,
Okay.
understand them, predict their behavior, even influence them, right?
Ooh, getting a little Black Mirror here.
Maybe a little, but the key is understanding these levels, right?
Okay.
Because it helps us track how this whole AI and advertising thing is going to evolve.
So we're not caught flat-footed, like
Yeah.
we're front-running the trend, as Taylor puts it.
Precisely.
Okay, I'm game. Hit me with level 0.
Level 0 is AI evaluation.
Lay it on me.
So this is where marketers are starting to use AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude.
Oh, yeah, everyone's playing with those.
Right. But at this level, they're using them mainly to look over ad copy, to evaluate existing materials. Taylor calls it, and I love this, spell check on steroids.
Okay, so it's like having a super-powered editor,
Yeah.
catching typos and stuff, but I guess also able to analyze things like tone and clarity.
Absolutely. And even suggesting best practices based on its knowledge of advertising.
So it's like having a junior copywriter giving feedback.
In a way, yeah.
Interesting. The author mentioned they've been using this kind of AI since GPT-3.
Yeah.
Was it actually helpful? And I guess, what are the drawbacks?
So they found it useful for catching those really obvious errors.
Okay.
The kind of things that, slip through human eyes sometimes.
Yeah, we all have things.
Totally. But the big limitation is that at this level, AI doesn't really get human response.
In what sense?
It's not actually simulating what it feels like to be a person seeing the ad for the first time. It's going off of patterns it's learned, correlations in the data.
Gotcha.
Taylor compares it to training wheels.
Okay.
Helpful for getting started, but not ready for the real deal.
Right, can't win the Tour de France on training wheels.
Exactly.
All right, so we're off the training wheels. What's level 1?
Level 1 is AI persona roleplay.
Ooh, sounds more advanced.
It is. So here we're tapping into the whole role-playing thing that AI is getting so good at.
I mean, I've seen those examples online. It's kind of freaky.
Yeah, it is, right.
So how does that work for marketing?
Well, imagine you tell the AI to basically become a certain kind of consumer.
Correct.
Take on that persona.
Think like them.
Exactly. And because these AI models have been trained on so much text, they've gotten really good at understanding and mimicking different types of people.
So give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you have an ad for a new family meal, like a microwavable thing, right?
Okay.
You could tell the AI, imagine you're a busy parent of 2. You're super stressed. You value convenience and healthy food. What's your reaction to this ad?
Oh, I see. So you're getting the AI to basically critique the ad from a specific perspective.
Exactly. And Taylor even points out that AI can mimic survey responses with like 85% accuracy when given a real person's interview.
Whoa, that's pretty impressive.
It is, but, there are definitely drawbacks here.
What's the catch?
Well, since the AI is learning from data, there's this risk of it leaning on stereotypes.
Oh, right. If it's only seeing stereotypical representations of busy parents, that's all it's going to know.
Exactly. And also, each persona is kind of isolated, right? You're not getting the kind of back and forth you get in a real focus group.
Where people bounce ideas off each other.
Exactly. Taylor even jokes about prompting the AI to act like I'm 5 or act like a pirate.
Haha, yeah. Like, that's just one very specific and probably exaggerated viewpoint.
Totally.
So how do we get beyond that? Is that what level 2 is about?
It is level 2 is virtual survey panels.
Okay, tell me more.
This is where Taylor's work with Rally gets really interesting.
Yeah, I saw that mentioned in the article.
So instead of just one persona, you have a whole bunch of them, like a virtual panel. You ask them all the same questions, show them the same ad,
Okay.
and then you look at the big picture of how they respond.
Like a digital focus group.
Kinda, yeah.
So what's the advantage of that?
Well, first, you can make your panel really diverse. Different ages, incomes, lifestyles.
To match your target audience.
Exactly. And you can reuse the same panel over time.
Oh, that's handy.
Right, so you get consistent data.
To track how things are changing.
Exactly. And because you have multiple responses, you can see statistically significant trends.
Right, you're not just relying on one AI's opinion.
Precisely. You can see how certain demographics react to different messages.
So you can tailor your ads better.
Exactly. But even here, there's something missing.
Oh, is this where you tell me AI still can't make a decent cup of coffee?
Not quite.
What is it then?
It's the spontaneity, the interaction, the back and forth you get with real people.
Ah, so the AI personas aren't really talking to each other yet?
Right, they're just giving individual responses.
Okay, so that brings us to level 3.
It does. Level 3 is synthetic focus groups.
Now we're talking.
Right. This is where things get really interesting.
So are we there yet? Are AI focus groups a thing?
Well, kinda, sorta, but not quite.
Okay.
It's still very experimental. Taylor says he hasn't seen a really reliable demo yet.
What's the holdup?
It's tough to make the AI agents interact naturally.
Yeah, I can imagine it turning into a nonsensical mess pretty quickly.
Right, like they get stuck in loops or go off on tangents.
AI having an existential crisis in the middle of your focus group.
Basically.
But Taylor mentions this project, Tiny Troop, right?
He does. They're working on this, trying to crack the code.
So what's the potential here? Why bother making AI chat with each other?
Imagine being a fly on the wall as a group of AI consumers discuss your product.
Okay.
You see how ideas take hold, how they're challenged. You see social proof happening, maybe some groupthink.
You could even see if certain personalities dominate the conversation.
Exactly. You get insight into how opinions spread and evolve.
That's powerful stuff.
It is, but the key is making it feel real.
Right. The AI needs to sound like a real focus group, not a bunch of robots.
Exactly.
Okay, so level 4 simulator environments. This is getting pretty out there.
It is. This is where the AI isn't just talking about stuff. It's actually doing things.
Oh, interesting.
Like, imagine a virtual website or a store.
Okay.
And your AI personas can browse around, click on things, add stuff to their cart.
Oh, wow. So you can see how they actually behave.
Exactly. You're not just asking them what they think. You're watching what they do.
So you could track, like, where their eyes go on a web page, what they click on, how long they spend on each page.
You could see where they get stuck, where they drop off in a checkout process.
You could even see how a product goes viral, like how it spreads through a simulated social network.
That's the idea. You're getting at the social dynamics that influence success.
And this is something Taylor is actually working on.
He's experimenting with simpler versions.
Okay.
But he points out that these simulations get complex fast.
Yeah, trying to perfectly mimic the real world, that's got to be tough.
It is, and the errors can multiply quickly.
But the potential is huge, right?
It is. Imagine seeing not just what people say, but what they actually do.
Powerful stuff. So now, level 5, the final level.
Level 5 is recursive self-improvement.
That sounds very, technical.
It is, but it's also the most mind-blowing.
Okay. I'm ready to be mind blown.
So at this level, the AI isn't just predicting stuff, it's actually learning from real-world results. So you run an ad campaign, You get data on how it performed,
Okay.
and you feed that data back into the AI.
So it can tweak its models, get better at predicting next time?
Exactly. It's a constant feedback loop.
So it's getting smarter and smarter with each campaign.
Precisely. And over time, Taylor says it could become incredibly good at predicting how people will respond to pretty much anything.
Like, scarily good.
Yeah, maybe a little, because it's had the equivalent of millions of campaigns worth of experience through its simulations.
And that's the goal, right? That's
Yeah.
the Hopkins test.
It is the point where AI can create ads that consistently outperform humans.
That's a huge shift. Taylor even says that this could change the whole market research industry.
Absolutely, and even the role of marketers themselves.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And it's something that people like Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, are talking about too.
I've heard of him. He's like a big name in AI, right?
He is, and he thinks AI will get ridiculously good at persuasion even before we have general AI.
General AI, that's like the singularity stuff, right?
Yeah, where AI is as smart as humans across the board.
And Altman thinks super persuasion AI is coming even before that.
He does, and his timeline for general AI is within the next 5 years.
Wow, so this is all happening fast.
It is, which brings up the big question. What will marketers actually do in this future?
Yeah, like if AI is writing the ads, what's left for us humans?
Well, Taylor thinks a lot of the day-to-day agency work will probably be automated.
That's a lot of jobs gone.
It is, but he also thinks there will still be a need for human oversight.
In what way?
Well, someone needs to make sure the AI isn't going off the rails, right?
Okay.
Someone needs to be accountable for the results, for making sure the AI is aligned with the client's goals.
Like the AI could write an amazing ad that's totally off-brand or something.
Exactly. So he thinks account managers, people who can bridge the gap between the AI and the clients, will be really important.
Okay, so more like AI whisperers than Don Drapo types.
Yeah, more about strategy and interpretation, less about pure creativity.
Makes sense, but also, we humans, we're pretty unpredictable, right?
Totally. And cultures change, trends come and go.
Yeah, like what's cool today might be cringe tomorrow.
Exactly. And Taylor found that while AI could predict survey responses with 85% accuracy at one point,
Yeah.
only 19% of those people gave the same responses a week later.
Wow, that's wild.
It is. So even with AI, we still need to be paying attention to real-world trends.
Constantly adapting, tweaking the models.
Exactly. Taylor even jokes that he might end up making a living doing user interviews for Hopkins GPT.
Haha. I love that. So basically he's saying even in an AI-driven world, there's still a need for human insight.
Absolutely. We bring something to the table that AI just can't replicate.
At least not yet.
Right. At least not yet.
So big picture, what are the key takeaways for our listeners today?
Well, the Hopkins Test, it's this future benchmark for AI in advertising.
Yeah.
When AI can outcreate humans.
Right.
And we've walked through these 5 levels of synthetic market research that get us there.
From basic AI evaluation to full-on AI focus groups and even simulated worlds.
And the thing to remember is this is happening fast.
Yeah.
AI is getting scarily good at understanding us, at figuring out what makes us tick, at predicting how we'll behave.
It's kind of mind-blowing and a little scary too.
It is.
So here's a question for you, dear listener, something to ponder.
So,
If AI can do all this for advertising, what does it mean for the rest of our lives? Like, how will AI reshape our world beyond just what products we buy?
that's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and it's something we all need to be thinking about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Rally, your virtual audience simulator. Rally lets you ask almost any question to entire crowds of role-playing agents, each with their own unique background context. When you prompt in Rally, your questions get answered by all of the agents within your audience at the same time. The responses are then synthesized into a helpful summary, but you can drill in to the individual responses from your personas, copy them, or you can export the entire chat to a CSV. Each session is saved, so you can return to it later and continue the thread, and the personas maintain memory within each session. This means you can ask follow-up questions, such as get an opinion scale, or even ask what these personas would need to change a prior vote. You can even ask them to give feedback on something visual like an image. The personas cannot see each other's responses, and it's by that way we avoid groupthink. And to reset memory, you just need to start a fresh session. Designing your own audience is as straightforward as adding a description and clicking generate. You can generate more than one persona at a time, tweak the audience description to align your virtual audience characteristics with that of a real audience, edit your personas, or clone via text. This lets you create audiences quickly based on text from LinkedIn profiles, autobiographies, script comment threads, reviews, transcripts. Anything that you can get into text can theoretically be used to generate personas. You can also download our CSV template and use our bulk import method, which also supports cloning. And then once you save your audience, it will be available in your hub where you can either ask questions or export so that you can import it into the account of another user that you're supporting. With that said, give us a try today and let us know what you think. Happy prompting.
Step into the simulation, a virtual audience of role-playing characters, each with a unique perspective. This is more than playful fantasy. Welcome to Rally, a private crowd feedback platform designed to offer swift, authentic insights. Within these digital personas, you can pose nearly any question. Is your marketing pitch resonating? Does your design spark delight? Here you receive direct, honest feedback, free of the echo chamber and groupthink often found elsewhere. Marketers validate campaigns before launch. Innovators refine product concepts. Entrepreneurs test prototypes across broad or niche specific digital audiences, all in a safe and private environment. Rally's simulated panel never tires and remains ready to guide you toward sharper, everyday decisions. By combining simplicity with insights from the crowd, Rally removes the barriers between your questions and your answers. All the wisdom, none of the scars.